When most people think of the Old West, names like Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday often come to mind, but there was one man whose influence in the frontier was just as profound, yet often overlooked: Texas John Slaughter. A larger-than-life figure, Slaughter didn't just live the rugged life of a cowboy, he became a key figure in shaping the law and order of the Arizona Territory. From cattle drives to dangerous confrontations with outlaws, his story is one of grit, determination, and an unwavering commitment to justice.
Texas John Slaughter's life was a remarkable blend of roles and accomplishments, spanning various professions and territories. He served as a Civil War veteran, trail driver, cattleman, Texas Ranger, Cochise County Sheriff, professional gambler, and even Arizona State Representative. By the time he passed away at the age of 80, he had become an iconic figure of the American West, celebrated for his contributions to the development and stability of the frontier. Born on October 2, 1841, in Sabine Parish, Louisiana, John Slaughter was the son of Benjamin and Minerva Mabry Slaughter. When he was just a few months old, the family relocated to a land grant near Lockhart, Texas, where they began raising cattle. Though his formal schooling was limited to brief periods in Sabine and Caldwell counties, Slaughter was an eager learner. His curiosity led him to acquire practical knowledge, including mastering the Spanish language and adopting cowboy techniques taught to him by Mexican vaqueros. As a young man, Slaughter worked alongside his father and brothers on the ranch. With the onset of the Civil War, he enlisted as a Texas Ranger in Captain John Files Tom's company, where he joined efforts against the Comanche. Standing at only 5 feet 6 inches, with striking black eyes and a voice that occasionally stammered, Slaughter was determined to make a name for himself. On March 9, 1862, he joined the Confederate Army, but illness forced him to return home by 1864. Once recovered, he rejoined the conflict with the 3rd Frontier Division of the Texas State Troops in Burnett County, where he gained a reputation as a resolute and skilled marksman. After the Civil War, John Slaughter and his brothers founded the San Antonio Ranch Company in Atascosa County, Texas. They raised their own cattle and expanded their business by driving herds to various destinations, including Mexico, California, Kansas, and New Mexico. They were among the pioneers who helped establish cattle drives along the famous Chisholm Trail. During a cattle drive to California, Slaughter developed a strong passion for poker, a hobby that would become a lifelong interest. On August 4, 1871, he married Eliza Adeline Harris, and together they had 4 children, though only 2 would survive to adulthood. In 1876, while in San Antonio, Texas, Slaughter found himself embroiled in a confrontation with another poker player, Barney Gallagher, who was caught cheating. After losing money in a hand, Slaughter confronted Gallagher and reclaimed his losses. Infuriated, Gallagher followed Slaughter back to his ranch, where he challenged him to a confrontation. When Slaughter appeared, Gallagher took a shot at him, but missed. Slaughter responded, and Gallagher was fatally shot. By the late 1870s, Slaughter grew increasingly frustrated with the overcrowded conditions in Texas and decided to seek a new place to settle. He left his wife and children behind in Texas and ventured to New Mexico, where he purchased cattle but did not acquire land. Instead, he began scouting for property in southern Arizona. As his search continued, he sent for his family, who joined him in Tucson. Sadly, just after their reunion, Eliza succumbed to smallpox in 1877. After retrieving his cattle from New Mexico, Slaughter left his children in Arizona and headed east. During his travels, while camping by the Pecos River, he encountered a family named Howell, which included a 16-year-old daughter, Viola. On April 16, 1878, John married Viola and persuaded her entire family to relocate to Arizona. Initially, they settled south of Tombstone, but in 1884, Slaughter purchased the expansive 65,000-acre San Bernardino Ranch near Douglas. From Arizona to Mexico, Slaughter built a large and well-organized operation, employing 20 cowboys and 30 farming families. Although John and Viola did not have biological children, they opened their hearts to several adopted children. In 1886, Slaughter's efforts were recognized when he was elected Cochise County Sheriff, a role that would see him working to eliminate the lawlessness that plagued Tombstone and Gallieville. He formed a strong partnership with Jeff Milton, a former U.S. Deputy Marshal and Wells Fargo Express agent, and together they became highly effective in apprehending criminals. During his time as sheriff, Slaughter became known for carrying a pearl-handled .44 revolver and a 10-gauge double-barreled sawed-off shotgun, which he referred to as his equalizer. However, one mistake he made was hiring Burton Alvord as a deputy sheriff. Alvord, a skilled tracker, quickly gained a reputation for capturing cattle rustlers and other criminals. Unfortunately, his heavy drinking eventually led him to a life of crime, and he turned against the law he had once upheld. One of Slaughter's early challenges was pursuing the Jack Taylor gang, who had recently robbed a train near Nogales and fired on the train crew. Slaughter and his posse learned the gang was hiding at the home of Flora Cardenas. By the time they arrived, the gang had already fled. They then followed leads to Wilcox and later to Contention, where they found gang members Manuel Robles and Nieves Daron asleep at the camp of Manuel's brother, Guadalupe Robles. When Slaughter ordered the two men to get up, a gunfight erupted, and to Slaughter's surprise, Guadalupe Robles, who had been a respected member of the community, joined in. Tragically, he was shot and killed almost immediately. Manuel Robles and Nieves Daron attempted to flee, continuing to fire their revolvers as they ran. One of their bullets grazed Slaughter's ear, but he quickly returned fire, fatally wounding Daron. Despite being severely injured by a shot from Deputy Burton Alvord, Manuel Robles managed to escape. Soon after, gang leader Jack Taylor was captured in Sonora, while Manuel Robles and another accomplice, Geronimo Miranda, were killed by Mexican authorities in the Sierra Madre Mountains. During his first term as sheriff, Slaughter also supported the U.S. cavalry in their efforts against Geronimo's Apache warriors. His success in maintaining law and order was so notable that he was re-elected in 1888. However, during this time, Burton Alvord's performance as a lawman began to decline. His drinking problem worsened, and he began spending more time in the saloons of Tombstone, mingling with criminal elements. This behavior led to frequent altercations, and Slaughter grew increasingly frustrated with his deputy. As tensions rose, Alvord became disillusioned with both Slaughter and the law. Eventually, Alvord left his position, but Slaughter would face lasting criticism for hiring him, especially as Alvord descended into a life of crime by the turn of the century. By 1890, Cochise County, once notorious for its lawlessness, had largely been brought under control, allowing Slaughter to retire from law enforcement and focus on managing his ranch. In 1906, Slaughter briefly served in the Territorial Assembly, but his primary focus remained on his business ventures and ranching. Over time, he expanded his interests, acquiring a meat market in Charleston and 2 butcher shops in Bisbee. His keen business acumen proved valuable, and he also began offering financial assistance to his neighbors, lending money for mortgages and further solidifying his reputation as a trusted figure in the community. In his later years, Slaughter's health began to decline due to various ailments, including eczema on his hands and feet and high blood pressure. After a headache the night before, he passed away peacefully in his sleep at his home in Douglas, Arizona, on February 16, 1922. He was laid to rest at the Calvary Cemetery in Douglas. Throughout his life, Slaughter made a significant impact on the Arizona Territory, using both his skill with a 6-shooter and a sawed-off shotgun to bring order to the region. His efforts earned him respect and admiration from other notable figures of the Old West, including Wild Bill Hickok, Ben Thompson, Wyatt Earp, Bigfoot Wallace, Kingfisher, Sam Bass, Billy the Kid, and Pat Garrett. One lawman who worked alongside Slaughter described him as a figure who was like a spider spinning its web for the unwary fly, emphasizing his strategic approach to law enforcement. Today, the Slaughter Ranch stands as a fully restored museum, preserving the legacy of a man whose influence helped shape the American West. In the end, Texas John Slaughter's legacy stands as one of the most remarkable in the history of the American Old West. From his daring days as a Texas Ranger to his pivotal role in bringing law and order to the chaotic lands of Arizona, Slaughter's life embodies the rugged determination that defined the frontier. He not only tamed lawless territories, but also became a symbol of justice in a time when the rule of law was often in question. His influence shaped not only Arizona's history, but also the broader story of the American West, where the line between lawmen and outlaws was sometimes blurred. If you've enjoyed learning about the life of Texas John Slaughter and his role in taming the wildlands of Arizona,
please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.